Yesterday, we talked about the future of college sports. We talked about Bubba Cunningham, who wrote, for lack of a better term, a manifesto. He is the athletic director for UNC. You can go check it out on goheels.com. A whole bunch of stuff about the future of the sport, future of sports in college, not just the sport. But one of the things that is obviously going to drive everything in the future of college sports is the future of college football, because there's money there, because there's conference rivalries there, because everybody wants to make sure they're being connected, they're being picked by the cool kids in college football. Jim Phillips is the ACC commissioner. He spoke to the media today about the college football playoff and the teams that are being ranked highly or not being ranked highly, teams that are in the projections to make the 12-team expanded playoff, teams that aren't expected to. And I have to give Jim Phillips a little bit of credit here. Not a lot, but a little bit, and you'll see why in a second. Here's Jim Phillips on Miami being ranked too low.
Very honestly, I was disappointed. I was disappointed that Miami was 8th. I just think they're a top 6 team, and I don't understand how they get leaped by another Power 4 team that played an FCS game last weekend, and Miami was off.
That's real. Make the argument. Jim Phillips doesn't do that enough. Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, that guy's out there like passing out pins that say SEC rules. And then if you flip it over on the other side, it says like ACC stinks. Like they're out there on some partisan arguing stuff. Jim Phillips oftentimes is just, we're healthy and we're looking towards the future. No, come out swinging. Defend your squad. Do you know what was the loudest thing that happened last year? It was deafening. It was actually silence. It was Jim Phillips after Florida State didn't make the college football playoff after being an undefeated ACC champion, when he should have been buying billboards in every SEC and Big Ten market of his face and like just expletives all around it. He was wildly quiet. Wild, like too
Double
quiet.
birds.
Yes. Just call into Feinbaum so it's like Jim in North Carolina. And then once you get on air, let them know who you are. Do whatever it takes to raise a stink, because your teams, your conference members were being disrespected, and you are the enforcer. You're the one. That's what I need to hear from you. Because A, you're the commissioner. B, it means more coming from a suit. It just, like, we can make all the signs for game day and jump up and down behind Pat McAfee as he makes some kid kick field goals for $200,000 that says, like, ACC's being disrespected. Nobody's going to take that seriously. However, if a commissioner puts out a video or takes an interview where they say point blank, no hesitation, we're getting messed over here, it's not fair, that's going to carry more weight.
And drop a couple while you're doing it. Because people are like, oh, okay, he's serious.
I know I reference sports movies too much, but it's Denzel Washington when he thinks his team's getting cheated in Remember the Titans. Let the boys play, cheater. Like, get out there and use some names. There's nothing gained by you being the prim and proper one. Well, like, we don't do that because we're men of the Atlantic Coast Conference. There's nothing gained by that. Jim Phillips continued talking about SMU and Clemson and where they're ranked.
They were just okay offensively the first 2 games at Nevada, then home against BYU. But they've been letter perfect. And so to be 13th, I just think they're inside the top 12. And finally, Clemson. I think Clemson's a top 15 team. They're one of, I think it's 10 or 11 FBS teams that is undefeated on the road, amongst other things. So at the end of the day, we still have 2 weeks left to play. I made those comments known to the committee members that are watching the ACC. And so, listen, we have to win. And all of this is a moot point. about where our ranking is and whether we're in with multiple teams or not.
I like the idea. There's no way he should be saying Clemson is one of 10 or 11. He should walk in there with stats to back it up. Have them written down in front of you if you need it, but say it with your chest. Right? If Clemson is one of 10 teams that are undefeated on the road, you better say there's not 10 other teams in the country that can say they win as often, they win as dominantly as Clemson does on the road. You need to come out there like cut a promo. Then, as you know, my promos always sound like kind of half Hulk Hogan, half Macho Man Randy Savage. It needs to be like, you listen here, brother. When Clemson comes to your house, they're leaving with a win. And I know that because they're one of 10 teams that are undefeated on the road. Then go into like, you, me, Madison Square Garden, college football playoff round 1. Oh, yeah. Like, Jim Phillips needs to be that. As I said, there's nothing gained by being polite in this situation. If others were treating the ACC with politeness, sure. If it was some kind of mutual respect, go ahead. But if they're throwing rocks and you're throwing pillows, you're not going to win the game. Like, who in their right mind? He's talking about SMU. Can you play just the first, 5 seconds of that clip again? It is Jim Phillips talking about SMU right at the start.
They were just okay offensively the first 2 games at Nevada, then home against BYU. But they've been letter perfect.
Go ahead and stop.
So
why in the heck are you naming exact instances of them not being good offensively and then just saying, other games they played well?
So he was talking about last year, the quarterback situation with Florida State was the reason why they were held out. And he said, well, SMU made a quarterback change, and they've been great since. Like, they made a quarterback change. That's the reason why their offense has been letter perfect, because they made a QB change. It's like, you can't sit there and hold Florida State, hold it against them at their quarterback's out when one of our teams has gotten better when they actually did make a change at QB.
That's a good argument. I'm not debating the validity of what he is trying to say there. I'm saying good arguments don't work. Louder, angrier, more dramatic works. SMU, sure, the first 2 games, they weren't as good. No, just say from the beginning of the season, they've been a better football team than Notre Dame. Notre Dame is 6, SMU is 13, and it doesn't make a darn bit of sense. Not well last year. It's a good argument. And if I were on the committee, I actually think those types of arguments would work best because I'm like to say I'm a fan of logic and reason. But it's obvious that's not what's going on here. It's obvious that the what they call is the eye test, what I call is public opinion, is driving quite a bit of the way these rankings are falling. Just do the same thing you're doing with the same idea and the same intention, but with 35% more world wrestling villain. Just 35% more heel.
Go full Jake the Snake Roberts on this one.
Sure. Go just don't worry about being likable. Worry about them fearing you.